Culture is defined as ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular people or society. For Youth Forum this morning, joining me in studio to discuss the topic of the relevance of culture to youth, we have Aldino, Renee Jones, and Leslie Ann Welsh. Welcome.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start at the end of the table, right? When you hear us talk about culture, what impact, what relevance does that have for you?
Culture colors our entire experience as human beings, the way we perceive ourselves and our environments, the way we behave, the way we speak, what we like to eat. So it's something that we live and breathe effortlessly.
Yeah.
You know, so I think for me at least, defining my own culture, my culture as an individual, my national culture, and my culture as a global citizen has been a critical part of helping me navigate, you know, my evolution into womanhood, the evolution of my career, and my awareness of my role in my ecosystem, you know?
Yeah.
So culture is everything, and it's effortless.
Effortless.
Always changing.
For you, Aldino.
Well, she said it all, you know.
Yeah.
Culture is everything. And we have to just preserve it, right? And bring it to our next level.
Bring it to our next level.
Yeah.
Your views on the definition of culture and its relevance to you?
To me, culture is language. And you know that language is the means by which we express ourselves and communicate, get together with each other. And culture is the core of all of human being. Yeah, so we have separate culture and we have a large culture that brings us all together. You know, so to me, culture is everything. Without culture, we're nothing.
Without culture, we're nothing.
Nothing.
It helps you to navigate. I want to go back to that. When you said you describe your individual culture, national culture, and your culture as a global citizen, and this navigation that you're talking about. Expand on that a bit.
Yes, our values form the foundation of our culture. You know how you define right, wrong, for me, not for me, good fit, not a good fit. It can provide us with pillars to kind of help us make choices.
Right.
You know?
And Aldina, as a filmmaker, as an artist, you are one of the persons that people will say you are practiced in the cultural industries. You have a direct impact on what younger people will consider to be their cultural perspective. Do you feel a sense of responsibility as to how you hone your craft, what you do, what you produce, what you put out there, and the impact it will have on other youngsters?
Yes, I feel that sense because life imitates art and art imitates life. So what you put out there, you have to mold the youth them in the right way to execute what the culture may bring. Right?
Yeah. And do you feel the need that you are trying to, I'm going to be honest, I don't like the word preserve because the only things that you preserve are things that are no longer living. Okay. So when people talk about preserving the culture, how can you preserve something that is bigger? As big as you have each defined it, how can you preserve that thing?
Well, to me, it's not necessarily to preserve it, as you said. It's to keep it alive, keep it going. So we have to constantly look back at where we're coming from and take them and put them, you know, use them as cells, you know, cells in our bodies, you know, they're very important. And culture is like that to us right now. And if without the cells in our bodies, what are we? Nothing. So, I mean, we really need the culture. We really have to look back at where we're coming from, the core things. I mean, this is the foundation.
Right.
And you cannot build on a weak foundation. So in order for us to build strong and go high and stay firm, we have to depend on what was made there for us, the mining that was done before we came. So in order to continue this tradition and mine and be mindful of what is about to come, we have to depend on what was. You understand?
So today being Independence Day, one of the criticisms, I don't agree with it based on my own experience, but I've seen it written so often that I have to raise it. One of the criticisms we have is that younger Jamaicans don't value days like today. Again, starting at the end. What value and importance is Independence Day to you?
The value of Independence Day to me is really, it presents an opportunity to ask good questions. How do I define independence? What does it mean to be independent? Does my life experience align with my definition of how I define independence, you know, so for me it's an opportunity to ask good questions.
Right.
Good questions, because whereas on the books we're independent, I think we have a long way to go to actual real life independence. So it's an opportunity to ask provoking questions.
And as a typical Jamaican Aldina, you notice she didn't just say to actual independence, she said actual independence. So for you, are we anywhere near actual independence, or we just at independence?
No, because really we're still dependent.
Yeah.
The country itself, right? Have to depend on different country for resources and so forth. So we need to take a look back in some of the past leaders like the Michael Manley, let's say the Marcus Garvey, right? And bring forward what is necessary for our culture, right? All right, for example, as we were discussing in the room, one time, we got people here, the first thing we used to ask for, can I get a cup of ice water, don't it? No.
That's early in the question, so real.
Yeah. But no, we actually got someone here we are asked for
Wi-Fi. I wasn't a part of the discussion earlier, you know. It's true. The first thing you ask, can I get your Wi-Fi password, please? And if they say no, you're vexed.
That's
Or
what I mean.
if somebody comes to your house and you don't really know them, and they want your Wi-Fi password, I'm sorry, I don't remember it. And then they're vexed.
So the thing is now, the internet changing the culture.
Yeah.
Right? And we as people who in the creative field, we need to come together and bring back what is Jamaican culture. So for example, again, we look up to person like politicians, entertainers, pastors, and trust me, we don't see enough of them I don't know.
Facts.
Enough of them I don't know, because if them have influence.
Why you say facts a while ago that way? Like you say it like it's I felt like a hand come down behind me a while ago.
Absolutely.
I had to duck.
Because I 100% agree.
Yeah.
A lot, in my opinion, the figures that I see being elevated as role models, frankly, if my picnic bring home some of them behavior is daily coffins. It's not conducive to
CVM
harmony.
does not promote corporal punishment, even parent to child.
Good disclaimer. So the Christian them will say spare the rod. You know, this is not me endorsing corporal punishment either, but
just speaking the truth.
Endorsing the fact that there's just certain ways of being and doing things that lend to a harmonious coexistence, and there are certain that don't.
Yeah.
And I see where if it's not the dishonesty, the crassness, the vulgarity, the unconstructive self-centeredness, there are a lot of traits that our politicians, entertainers, artists of all, and we're not just going to limit it to a certain kind, because we have responsibility to each other as ordinary everyday people walking up and down in the street to say good morning, to show due respect for another one's comfort, another one's ability to progress and actualize the best of themselves. And moving around in our society these days and not really seeing where that's our norm.
Let's talk about that crassness a little bit more. First, to begin with, it is not easy to hear that very strong way in which truth has been described, that there is a lot of crassness and self-centeredness among those who ought to lead. And I'm not just speaking about the political class.
Yeah,
I speak about the image industry, persons who, because of their image and their position in society, have other eyes attuned to them and other ears giving them attention, and therefore a responsibility to how you share that space for the others to feel respected. I want to go back to 2 points quickly. One is the internet and its impact on culture. Is the internet helpful, or has Jamaica and have Jamaicans created our own set of spaces within this huge concept and this huge thing called the internet?
Okay. Personally, I think that a new culture is being born out of the internet. Like, let's think back before the internet came about. You know, we used to go down Manuel Road, Galang Boy, pick up rock store. Right. I mean, kids are not getting up these days and playing ring game, ring delio and all. Yeah. They're getting up to post on Instagram WhatsApp. I mean, social media is taking over our livelihood. And today, back to when we didn't have social media and the internet, I mean, it was easy to relate to one another. We looked at the hierarchy that came before us and it stood in our midst. But now that the internet is taking over, it has broken down some of our cultural barriers, you know, so.
And not always in a good way.
And not always in a good way. So it's inviting in a lot of other things that are against what we stand for, but yet still we see it as acceptable. You know, things that wouldn't usually go back in the past, but then now we can accept it because it's been accepted elsewhere.
Because what you see, you know, what you know, you adjust.
Exactly.
Even when there should not be some adjustments.
Exactly.
Let me quickly building on that point as to the impact of the internet in terms of melting some of the barriers and causing other influences. Music, Jamaican music is obviously one of the significant creatures that have affected human development in the 20th century and now as well in the 21st century. But Jamaicans complain when people acknowledge that by mirroring it. How do you feel as somebody active in that area when you see a Drake or other people sampling Jamaican music?
Well, to me, I feel overwhelmed. I feel great if you know, say, someone from a different country sampling Jamaican culture. That means that Jamaica do great, right? If me can see your work and take piece, right, that means you're great, right? And so forth. So I don't really take it as no offense.
Right. What about you in terms of this concept of a culture vulture?
My feeling is the same. I would like to know that I am free to travel anywhere in the world and see a cultural practice that resonates and incorporate it into my life. So I am happy to see our culture embraced by people all over the world. And I think what Jamaicans could do better to be careful of is, okay, so since you want to be so protect your culture constructively in a way that actually
brings wealth and value back to its birthplace.
Protect it constructively, but don't complain because it's love. Like, it seems a bit off-key to me.
Yeah, and we as well reach out and we will take and Jamaicanize as much as we can.
Yes.
I mean, maybe a different perspective, we too are colonizers because our music, our culture, our language has colonized the world.
Yes.
You know, is that a bad thing? Do you hear complaints elsewhere in other societies that, oh, it's becoming too Jamaican?
No. People love Jamaican. Anything Jamaican people usually value and love. Like, I remember traveling, and whenever you say that you're from Jamaica, you're a Jamaican, people glorify you.
Yeah.
They want you to speak, they want you to show them how to dance, they want you to sing for them. They really idolize what it is that we do here.
Because when I then dance or sing, they often say, "You sure you come from Jamaica?" You're saying something like just so Albino.
I meet this lady. She was doing a documentary on the founder of hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. And when we meet her in Africa, and she's like, "How can I get to Trenchtown?" And like someone was there telling her that I'm from Trenchtown. I said, "Really, you come from Trenchtown? Can you take me to Bob Marley culture yard? I'm doing a documentary on the founder of hip hop, and in one of his story, he says from Trenchtown."
Yeah.
Right across from Ambassador Theatre, and she wants to know the Ambassador Theatre. So I said, sure, I'm going to bring her down there. She was amazed.
The Trenchtown diaspora, them can braff it.
So we have to build on the culture, really, because how I see it right now, tell you the truth, back then, as when I said something earlier on, back then, when I see them do, like, they're playing a ring game, like, no, we lock. Hopscotch, you know, like when I play hopscotch, dandy shandy, baseball, and them look a game there. We need to come on, man. We need to
WhatsApp of them.
Then maybe what we should do, in addition to the Candy Crush, we should have the Manuel Road app and games out there available in the new space, the new platform.
Yes. Culture has to evolve.
It has to evolve.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about a different aspect of it, because if you look back 57 years ago, and we showed a video earlier where I don't even know if some of those children are still alive today, that pride when they marched as young people in uniform groups and stuff like that. Where in today's Jamaican daily schedule, weekly schedule for youngsters, is enough of that being programmed?
Good question, and I like somebody foolish. I still see it in the Scout and Brownie. That's probably where my friends who have school-age children, that's probably where I see it most consistently.
Right. And at the higher school, at the secondary level, cadets, perhaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That have to make me know, because my observation is that there's a big gap. There's a big gap in that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also a gap in terms of even how we address older persons. You made a point of a good morning, which hardly happens. Sometimes now when somebody tells you good morning or you tell somebody good morning, there's a shock response.
it
They're
is.
more
What did that lady
surprised.
Are you so polite? People ask me that.
Yeah.
Like this is feedback you get when you greet random people.
20 years ago, you
Are you
didn't-
so happy? Are you so polite?
yeah, if you didn't do it 20 years ago, it would have been a different thing. Where you come from, you have no brought-ups, and now is what take you, kind of a thing. That reversal or that change, because I don't think I can ascribe certain words to it like it's a reversal. It's just what it has become, what it is now.
Yes.
And by the way, our parents' generation had certain criticisms of us as their parents had of them. Let's advance to 10 years from now. Jamaica is 67 years old. It's Independence Day 2029. Is that 10 years from 20? Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
What do you think will be the normal conversation on Independence Morning 2029?
Wow, I love that one. I would hope the normal conversation on Independence 2029 would be oriented to encouraging people to define independence within yourself and your own being, and even beyond that, to recognize that independence is cool, but interdependence is cool, and no man is an island. Like, independence, yes, we want to be able to feed ourselves, have autonomy for, how we build wealth, how we raise families, how we do businesses and all of these nice things. But we have to acknowledge that independence and interdependence are critical to actual harmonious societies.
Ouch, my goodness. Just give her the PhD right now on Sunrise. It's August 6, 2029. What should the normal conversation be that we were having, or whomever would be hosting a program such as this will be having then?
Well, to me, as what she said earlier on, just be yourself and have your own independent and spread the culture different, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not really much still, because it hurt my heart to see the culture really had changed. Trust me.
And you're how old again? Because if you're saying that, don't answer. It's a rhetorical question. If you're saying that, I can hear some of our colleagues in the control room with similar statements and comments and concerns. 2029, August 6th, Independence Morning. What are we talking about?
I believe that a lot of gratification should be shown on this day. So a person should be saying, because of this day, because of independence, we are able to celebrate every other day. Every other day seems important to us. And that's only because of Independence Day.
Right.
We should reflect on all the struggles that our foreparents went through to make this day possible. And we should be grateful and hold our flags very high, because it's because of them we're here today and we're able to celebrate every other day.
The importance of gratitude comes out in the three responses.
Yes.
But earlier we were talking about the fact that society seems to be coarsening. Less gratitude is being played. Thank God for Coffee's song that actually put it in with skull that gratitude is a must. But what are some? So you've in your response just now, Aldina, you mentioned one of your fears that the thing is changing and not necessarily for the better. What would be a fear that you have, something that you're seeing today, which you are concerned will be more evident 10 years from now in the Jamaican society?
Young people seem disproportionately focused on survival, day-to-day, short-term, making ends meet, with seemingly little emotional and spiritual capacity for visioning, hopefulness, you know, aspiration. And I would really, really, really love to get to a point where young people are dreaming again.
Yeah.
You know, conjuring a future that is brighter, bolder, and more joyful than the one you experience now, and actively every day get up and construct that vision in your head.
A month ago, I should have been walking around a particular place with you to explain that vision, but too late. I'll come back to that off air. For you, Aldino, 10 years from now, what is something you're seeing happening today that concerns you, that you would hope there is less or none of it 10 years from now?
Well, really and truly, 10 years from now, I mean, how I see Jamaica.
Yeah, how you'd want to see Jamaica.
I want to see Jamaica be independent and not dependent, right? As I said earlier on, the country itself, I depend on other country for resources and so forth. For
basic resources.
Yeah, so we want to see Jamaica start to own all of these things that them have, like the backside, the factories.
Yeah.
Keep mining out the cockpit country.
No. Don't even start that. Because 10 years from now, it shouldn't be a question about keeping mining out. 10 years from now, it should have been an expansion of the boundaries of the cockpit country and the renewal of the environment. Don't come here this morning.
Them move slow, so me just keep the lowest expectation on the table. Right. We are struggling.
I'm building our confidence, because really and truly the youth, them lack a confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is linked again to the point of the need to restore the right to dream and to move beyond what am I going to eat today and how am I going to provide for tomorrow, into a more harmonious, nobler quality discussion about 5 years from now and 10 years from now. What about you in terms of that thing that you're seeing now that causes you concern and you hope 10 years from now we won't be complaining about it? Don't mention copy country, because we're solving that this year. We are solving that this year.
Until Lava mentioned the survival mode of the people now, right? And that has led to us living for every other day.
Yeah.
But not every other year, every other lifetime. We're living now, but we're not taking into consideration the youngs that are coming up. So the things that we are doing now, we're being selfish. We're being selfish. We're saying that if we could have made it through yesterday, then today we have to make it through today. But we're not thinking about how can I make it through today and let it be of some scripture or guide to my little daughter when it's her time at my stage to make it through her tomorrows. So I think that we should live with our culture, you know, bring back everything based on our culture and live to see the next 10 years. So for me, I want to say, how can I comb my hair today and see it in the next 10 years? You understand? I made this hairstyle. I mean, our culture has become so diverse, but we need to be in control. We need to remember that, what kind of control can I call that? Reflective control, selective control. We have to reflect and select the things that will paint the brighter picture.
That represent us really.
Right, really.
Goodness. Yeah, you having goosebumps too? Well, listen to me. 10 years from now, I want to see these three leaders at the top of their game, continuing to inspire not just younger, but slightly not so young Jamaicans. This has been an excellent insight to where we're going through the eyes of Leslie, Aldino, and Renee. And I'm very, very honored to have been your host this morning. Please remember me 10 years from now when it's big and braffia that I was here with you. And continue to have a great Independence morning. We're going to take a quick break for some more messages and continue with Sunrise. Independence 29 version after these.